grapefruit carbonated water, dude.
It's good. It's fresh.
Yeesh, minty.
It's actually not fresh. It's just water in a can.
Appreciate you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Pure Tennis Podcast, guys. Episode 49, inching closer. I remember when we set out a goal to get to 50 this year. I felt like it was so far away, but wanted to say thank you guys for all your support. It's been a fantastic week for the Pure Tennis Podcast. It's been our most downloaded week, pushing 600 clicks, which for us, I mean, if you would have told us, I don't know, 3 months ago that 600 people in 1 week would listen to us talk about tennis, I think we would have signed up for that every time.
Yeah, I think our original goal was to get 20 people.
And then I remember when I said, what if we could get to 50? And then 100. So, guys, we appreciate you guys.
Not that matters.
It doesn't matter, but it's good to see that people share our passion for the game, and I hope it comes through that we obviously do. That's what.
It helps when you go down to the tournaments and start talking to actual pros. I'll say that.
No, 100%. I think that's a big reason why our traffic was bumped. We had awesome guests on: JJ Wolf, Tommy Paul.
Thank you, guys.
Andre Rublev, Mike Cation. I thought Mike Cation was awesome. I mean, he's amazing. I think he does great work. Definitely a guy that I know puts in the work, and I always learn from him. I mean, I run into him just in passing, like in the tunnels and stuff, and he's always giving me a nugget on the go. I mean, whenever he passes me, I'm like, man, that guy just. I love the information he gives. He just never seems to have like an agenda. He just seems to be a loyal tennis fan and someone that
totally dialed up.
Yeah, and
he knew all the. I mean, I liked his point of view on the challengers and going. You know, like it's like that's our point of view too. Like
100%. And this is a guy that's put the work in from the challenger circuit to the college circuit to the pros, and so he knows the transition from college to the futures to challengers to the ATP Tour. He's followed a bunch of these guys through that path, whether it's Chris Eubanks, a guy that he's super close with who just made his debut in the top 100, whether it's a Kovacevic, another guy who's made the top 100, Ben Shelton, JJ Wolf. I mean, this is a guy that has known these players since they were 18 years old or younger, and I think Cation's fantastic. So, guys, check out those episodes if you have not already. Want to do a little gear talk here to kick off today's show. Guys, there's a ton of new stuff on the market that we have not talked about. One thing I want to start off with is a new string from Yonex. It is called Polytour Drive. JP's got it in his Pure Aero VS, the 98.
It's great. It's great string.
Just said it's your favorite string.
It's my favorite string. I put it in there with a hybrid with the RPM Blast at 54, and it's something that when you try out, like, I keep trying all these new strings, and that one just feels real smooth, but it's got like just a kind of a controlled deep ball that I feel, and it might just be a placebo in my brain, but I feel like I can hit real deep with it.
It's the Polytour Drive is an octagon shaped string. It's 8-sided. It's got a lot of bite to it. I have it in right now I have a full bed of Polytour Drive in my Pure Aero. It's been a lot of fun to hit with it, especially indoors. I feel like I get the ball to drop so quickly. I'm definitely a full Western grip on the forehand, so that is a string that plays right into my comfort zone. Other Polytour Drive, guys, the Pure Drive 98, it's an exclusive racket only at tennispoint.com. That racket continues to just be one that I think is going to really take a strong hold in the market, whether it's the juniors, the college players, and the tour. I think it's going to start popping up more because the Pure Drive 100, as we all know, was a racket that was extremely hard to control. I mean, especially for the men out there, I felt like it was not a racket that you would see many high-level juniors or performance players on the men's side use. Just because the bigger swings, they're obviously a little bit stronger. The ball is going to the back curtain. The 98, I mean, just like Jerry Shang said it, we just did a commercial with Jerry Shang, the young 18-year-old from Shanghai. He just said it's the control for him that makes this racket so deadly because he has the pop. He's got the big sweet spot in there still, but this thing is it tempers it a little bit more, and it feels super smooth. Speaking of demos, though, I'm really excited. You just strung up a Slinko whiteout for me.
Yeah, Sam did, but yeah.
So young Sam,
good, and he strung it real loose for you because you were talking about Manarino, but he didn't go down that low.
48. No, I'm not at 19 pounds like Manarino. The fact that Manarino just made another run to did he go round of 16 or did he?
Yeah,
round of 16 at Miami Open, with his 19 pounds and his Pure Aero is absolutely absurd. So Eubanks is the one that finally took him out there.
Eubanks playing awesome.
Eubanks
I mean,
is balling.
he's got the T fight. You got the T fight right? Or no, I put it up on the wall.
I got it right here.
Oh yeah.
T Fight 315 right here. I'm super stoked to try this as well. I got a nice hybrid in here with some Head Hawk power, and it's
Technofiber
NRG
synthetic gut. Yeah.
Okay, so this feels so buttery, but yeah. Last thing I gotta talk about is, guys, the Pure Aero Rafa racket and bag that we just shot some spots for. Unbelievable. I mean, it looks so clean. It's a pink racket, guys. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Rafa played with it already a little bit before, but the bag that's coming out, it's the best bag on the market. It's a self-standing bag. Doesn't need to be leaned up against a wall or anything. It's got those little pegs like a suitcase does, so you can just lay it up. It's a fully insulated bag, 100% waterproof. It's just got this very clean material that just feels unbelievable. And it's got some customizations with the zippers and the inside pockets that are have like the logos of the Pure Aero Rafa. You got to check it out. Super stoked to drop that content. Guys, follow us at Pure Tennis Podcast on Instagram. Follow us at tennis_point_USA on Instagram as well. We try to put out a bunch of fun content, and it's
and we test everything. We try it all.
So. We try it all. That's been the most fun part of doing all this, is just testing out all the different products, whether it's strings, shoes, rackets. But JP, let's get into it. I know the fans are here to hear about the Miami Open. There's a bunch of college action that's been fun to tune into as well. But let's start off with the WTA action down at the Masters event in Miami. I just was there for a week. Ton of fun storylines. Started off a little rough with Iga dropping out with a rib injury. I don't know if she'll have to have.
I don't know what it was, but it was during the Rybakina match. Got the 6-2 beat down, and it made her. Weirdly, the rib started hurting.
Oh man! So Iga's out, guys. I think the storylines for me were Sorana Cirstea, at I believe 32 years old.
Yeah,
has
the Romanian girl.
Yeah, the first top 10 win. In the last couple weeks of Indian Wells and then here in Miami, she had the first top 10 win I think I heard in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
she's
in Indian Wells. Are you talking about Indian Wells?
I think that was her first top.
Yeah, played her heart
out. She
out.
continued to just keep it moving. Took out Sabalenka in Miami. Was a ridiculous win for her. Sabalenka obviously played tremendous since Australia, and for Cirstea to take out a top 3 player in the world on the women's tour is pretty amazing. So she made a big time run, back-to-back quarterfinals, as JP said.
I mean, she's just fit. She looks like she's kind of taking on the.
It's a clean New Balance fit too.
It is, yeah. It's just like you can just see like the athleticism. She's definitely kind of like got the conditioning that side of it. She's gonna just fight you to the end. And some of those girls, they don't want to play that game.
They don't want to get in a physical battle with a girl like Cirstea who's put the work in off the court. Jessica Pegula just continues to be steady. Reaches the semis again. Thought she had it. Thought she had Rybakina on the ropes there. Thought she had a chance to take the stronghold in that match and pull through. Rybakina, though, once you give her a glimmer of hope, I mean, it's just a small little window, and she seems to be taking it. And Pegula she wasn't happy, but it felt like
Rybakina was down. I mean, like
Slap City.
Yeah. Well, I feel like with the Badoza match, I think Paula Badoza had her at 5-2 or 4-2, and she just played. She's still deadly, even down in the match. She comes out like completely trusts her serve. Second serve's kind of garbage, but she hits the bombs that like those girls, and she's so tall that even, I mean, Kvitova, how do you say her? Kvitova.
Yeah.
Completely like I was amazed that she beat her, because I think that like the Indian Wells, I think they played each other before, and Rybakina got her, but like it was just, or was it?
This was the furthest. So yeah, Kvitova actually had never. I believe that was her first title in the States.
It was.
That was her first title in the States, which is crazy to think.
Yeah,
she's been around forever. Had a ton of.
She's
success.
33.
Yeah, she's like 6 months older than Cirstea. They were saying.
Right.
So no, I think that was one of the. I mean, just for Kvitova to be back in form. The other headlines for me would have been Coco Gauff. I just think Gauff having the same issues that she was having 3 years ago is a bit worrisome for fans that had seen Coco Gauff as being the future of the women's tour, future multi-champion at the slam level. and the Masters level. Yet alone just the Masters level. And I don't think we've seen Coco make the strides that personally I had thought she would make by now. With the work she puts in and the amount of tennis she plays, I thought we would start to see the forehand get a little tighter, a little cleaner. There just seems to be a vulnerability on that wing where it's just hard for her to absorb pace. You can speed her up on that wing. You can draw a lot of unforced errors on that wing, and it just doesn't look like a top 10 forehand right now, which to me is a bummer because I think Coco has a lot of the tools, both physically and mentally, as far as just her will out there on the court to want to compete and want to push hard. I just think she's lacking with the forehand so much right now that it's just going to, when you play against the Potapovas and the Kvitova's and the Rybakinas and the
Well, that's the thing is that the Sablenkas and the Kvitovas and the Rybakinas,
so many of them now.
They just bomb you into that. Like, good luck trying to set up a forehand when you serve. Like, because they're serve +1 girls. Like, all of them are.
Exactly.
I mean, that Rybakina match, we were trying to count volleys that went past 4, and there's like maybe
not many.
There's like it was just bang, bang, bangs whole set. So
and Coco's not she's trying to get to there, but she's not there yet. And the other girl I just mentioned that took out Coco Gauff, who played phenomenal, was Potapova. I mean, good Lord, she has a ton of firepower, a ton of weapons, a really good athlete, competes very well. I was very impressed with Potapova. I thought she, for me, was like even though she didn't win the tournament, that's the girl that I going forward in tournament play, I will be like having her circled on my schedule to watch. Yeah. The other person that I was definitely excited to watch and to have success again was Bianca Andreescu. She looked so good in her first round match. Took out Raducanu, took out Sakari.
I mean, if you're talking about looked good, I think Raducanu looked like the same outfit, except she didn't wear the black skirt. She just wore the green under shorts.
Bianca had the biker shorts on. No,
I think the look was better on the other side. Mendoza was wearing the exact same outfit too. Like they all had the
same color green,
same everything, except she didn't wear the dress.
Don't get me started on Nike apparel.
I'm not dogging it.
Don't get me started on Nike apparel in general. There's a reason why Andrei Rublev took his talents elsewhere.
Oh, I know. He was sporting.
Andrei was tired of looking like his opponent every other match. I mean, these guys are just tired of looking like identical. Like they both got dressed in the same.
I know. It just looks goofy.
It looks so goofy. Nike is just.
They got to stop doing that. They just got to stop doing that. I don't know who in their marketing group keeps telling everybody to put the same dresses.
I think the Nike tennis.
Got to stop.
Nike tennis has completely abandoned their marketing team.
There has to be.
They've eliminated the Nike Court Instagram page, which was their only.
Like what person's like, what should I get? I need a new tennis outfit. Oh, they're both wearing that green shirt. I should wear that.
It's so bad. Nike disappoints me. I'm beyond flustered with.
I'm with you. I'm not a fan of the cloned tennis player thing. It takes all personality out of the game.
It does. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Anyway, Bianca Andreescu came back.
Sorry, Bianca.
She looked
biker shorts look. I mean, she's totally doing what I told. She's having personality because she just didn't wear the black skirt.
I was super bummed to see her for her to get hurt. I was thinking. I mean, she was up a break in the second set after dropping the first set to an ankle injury. Is forced to pull out. But best of wishes to Bianca Andreescu as she was looking like to round back into form and look like a top player in the world for the first few matches there. But yeah, a ton of fun on the women's side. Really enjoyed it. Kvitova takes the title over Elena Rybakina. Rybakina, who was going for
trying to get the double.
Yep, the
Sunshine Double.
Didn't get to complete it, but awesome event from the women's side. Yeah, guys, we got to get to the ATP action because I think that's where we spent most of our time the last couple of weeks. JP, give me your overwhelming. For me, like I just said, it was Potapova for me on the women's side. What was your overwhelming takeaway on the tour side for the men?
For Miami Open or Indian Wells or both of them?
Just March Madness in general. To me, this was a March Madness. This was many fun stories the last few weeks.
I think that I'm just pumped for Medi. I think that when you get the Sinner Alcaraz back-to-back dog fights, I think the high level tennis that you get to witness with that match is so different than when you watch Medvedev play. But I'm happy that he got his win. So I mean,
Medi's now won 19 titles. I believe he's won 19 titles at 19.
4 for 5.
4 of his last 5.
Yeah.
did I read this correctly? You would know, you being the big Medi guy. Did I read it correctly that he's won 19 titles at 19 different events?
Mm-hmm.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
So he's never won any event twice, but he's won 19 titles.
And his 5th Masters 1000.
Yeah, so he's won all the.
That's pretty tough.
He's won all the major Masters, or made a final on all the major hardcore tournaments, basically, I believe. Medi's, he's a hardcore specialist. He's one of the best players in the world. But what he just put together the last 6-7 weeks was...
He's getting confident, too. Like you said in Indian Wells, is like when he gets confident, he plays a different game than anyone else. And so he's just a problem. Although Alcaraz figured him out.
But Daniil lost his swagger for a good bit there. And
just in that match.
Well, really just the past, after the Australian
Open.
Oh,
no, right. Yeah. Absolutely. But I thought you were going to say, like, in the Alcaraz match, he lost his swagger again, but he had it during the Sinner match.
Yeah. Well, he did have it. And I think he kind of had a mental edge over Sinner as well, being 5-0 going into that match. I think that definitely helps a guy like Medi, who's just carries himself at a different level right now, mentality-wise.
And Sinner had, like, some early points where he wasn't playing at the same level. Like, I mean, it's impossible to play whatever that level is. But, like, he had a couple of those weird unforced airs at the beginning. You could see the air come out of the balloon, and then starts doing playing the Medi game where he's just winging you around.
And the fact that Carlos Alcaraz at Indian Wells was able to hit winners past 6'7" Medvedev, who moves that well on a slow court,
and push him all the way back to the back wall, and then drop shot him, and then
just shows you how lethal Carlos is.
He's so lethal.
I was bummed Carlos was not able to remain healthy for the Sinner match.
Me too.
The level was definitely dropping.
So what was that? You were there. So he came back out of the bathroom, and was that he's a cramp?
Did you see Carlos shoot a glance at his box when he went coming after that medical timeout, and he expected to have some certain fluids at his
Is that what it was?
And they didn't. It looked like they didn't have.
I just knew Sinner stayed out through the change in the second, like from the second to third. Sinner just stayed out there in his sweaty mop shirt.
It seemed like Carlos just did not do the preparation pre-match to last for another physical battle. Whether it was hydration or whether it seemed to be a hydration issue. Jim Courier noted that as well. Just looked at his box. They mixed in some of those powder fluids. Whatever.
Yeah, they were handed it. But where's the bathroom at? Doesn't he have to walk all the way out?
It's a deep walk
to his where he got his concussion protocol all the way at the back of the NFL stadium.
This is an NFL stadium, guys. It is not a very conducive event for a tennis event.
Yeah, so he just popped out the door, but he actually walked 110 yards to a bathroom somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
I was thinking that one that we were watching. I'm like, he's got to go for a hike.
Oh, it's a hike. It's ridiculous. Miami Open, great event. I loved every second I was there, but it's not a venue that was made with tennis in mind at all. So they have to deal with some of these situations, and that was one of them. That
Nate sending me clips all week. Like, listen to the sound of the air conditioners. Like, try to get rid of that noise from that whatever that generator is.
Paula Badosa played Siegman in round one. And Siegman took 2 bathroom breaks, each which totaled up, I think, 18 or 20 minutes. Badosa started just pulling in ball girls and fans to hit with, but it was ridiculous. Some of the things that you'll see at the Miami Open are not things that you see at other Masters events. We'll just say that. But anyway, the other men's highlights for me was Tommy Paul again.
Yeah,
just continues to be a top 10 player. The last, 8 months. Tommy Paul has played like a top 10 player to me. He's just showed up every week. He beats everybody he's supposed to beat. The one tournament he didn't do that was Del Rey. But other than Del Rey, take off Del Rey off the map. I don't know if it's just because he changed rackets, but guys, check out the podcast. I was super interested to hear how he brought some blades and some V-cores down to Australia, and he was just going to ride with whatever racket.
Yeah, and he's and it's a gut string too.
Yeah, using natural gut from Babolat, which was interesting to hear.
Interesting.
But yeah, the men, guys, Sinner playing amazing. I thought he just continued to show what the future of tennis will look like, and he's going to be a big part of it.
He's got like a good year ahead of him, I think.
Oh, he'll be top 7 before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Let's do for the men. I wanted to do something a little different. After this March, I think we have I think it looks a lot different than we thought, even from Australia. As far as the rankings are 52 weeks worth of points, so I don't think it's I don't think it's the most accurate way to view the rankings of who's playing top level tennis.
Yeah, because it takes too much into account of last year.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and do our power rankings for the top 10 men right now. Even given the injuries and stuff to some of these top players, there's one guy I left out of my top 10 that but going into clay court season, I can't leave him. I can't put him in there. I'll walk you through mine. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Number 1, I got Carlitos Alcaraz.
Agreed.
Number 2, if they hadn't canceled him, he probably could be number 1. As you guys all know, is Novak Djokovic.
Agreed.
He could definitely be at the number 1 spot if they let him play the Sunshine Double. Number 3, Daniil Medvedev.
Agreed.
4, Yannick Sinner. 5, this is where it gets a little crazy, I think. So 4, Sinner. 5, Taylor Fritz. 6, Felix Auger-Aliassime. 7, Andrei Rublev. 8, Holger Rune. 9, Karen Khachanov. 10, Frances Tiafoe. I have Cam Norrie and Hubie Hurkacz sitting out on the outside looking in, but just a bit outside. What did I miss?
I put Tommy Paul in there somewhere.
How can I say 2 minutes prior to this that he's been a top 10 player and not put him in? Very contradictory of myself.
But because everyone you said though is like having a great start. I think like the only ones I would like just change around.
Like I wanted to put Tommy in there, but like Felix, if he would have beat Felix where he had 6 match
That's
points.
That's the thing. I was going to say Felix, but then Felix beat him.
He just beat him. So like, right. I couldn't put him in there. I think Rublev, the last few months, I think Tommy would take his last few months over Rublev's last few months, but Rublev seems to be playing. He's coming.
He's still there.
Holger,
he's still there.
Holger's right there. Khachanov has had great results.
He's been getting good draws.
Since the U.S. Open, he's been playing really well. And then Tiafoe, since the U.S. Open, has been playing very well. So it's like maybe Tommy slides in there at number 10, but I got Cam, Hubie, and Tommy Paul sitting just outside that top group.
Yeah, and I would say
I love that you're putting him in there. I think I definitely has
only because I think he hangs with the top guys better than
for sure.
Felix. Like Felix and him, they go down and they fight it out, and Felix beats him though. So it's like you can't take it out. You can't change it. You're right. Felix is not winning the big. He's not getting the big scalps though, like he needs to.
No, he's not. Felix is not.
I need that dude to get a
he's
W.
Too rigid. He's still too rigid. I mean, I can't put my finger on it exactly, but like he struggled. I was sitting courtside for Thiago Monteiro and him. He won 7-6, 7-6 in that match, and really, I mean, from the baseline, once the ball was after the serve, obviously Felix has the much more lethal serve.
So lethal.
But once the ball was put in play from a baseline to baseline perspective, if you were just from outer space and you came to watch that match, and I asked you who looked like a more dominant tennis player, I don't know if you would have.
I feel like Felix
for sure picked Felix.
I feel like what you're saying too is what I'm seeing too. Is like I get the feeling that Felix is afraid to like go for it. Like it's not like he
moved Thiago. I mean, he moved him around the court for sure.
His level is just there, but like I don't feel like it means like he's not gonna sit there and die on the court. He's just like if I start to lose, I'm gonna lose and lose with like he doesn't go out where it's just like even Rublev. Rublev will sit there and bang with JJ Wolf until one of them dies on the court.
Yep.
I don't feel like Felix is ready to do that, and it's like that's why he never wins those big ones, in my opinion. Like I don't see him taking like some big. He's not going to beat a Medi.
Yeah.
Until he's like, because Medi will literally die on the court to get you.
And that's why Felix is like. I think. Have we seen him? Is this his ceiling? Has he reached it already at 23 years old?
No, because I feel like he's going to get tested at one of these. Like, it's going to click, and maybe it's Uncle Tony's going to be like screaming at him that. You know that this is where he needs to go to, because I feel like the psychological stuff that like, Uncle Tony's not teaching him any like foundational stuff. No. He's teaching him all psychological stuff. So at some point he's gonna like it's gonna turn into either he's gonna turn into a Nadal or this is his ceiling. He can't get past it. Maybe that is the ceiling. Because
he's not as like I said this about Tiafoe on with the Mike Cation podcast where I thought. Tiafoe is a solid athlete, like, and he's become a better athlete with the work he's put in off the court, but he's not like, he's not a top athlete on the tour. You know?
Like a specimen.
No, he's not a specimen. Like I don't view Tiafoe as a specimen. Yeah, he's got a pretty live arm, but like if you watch his serve, like he doesn't even really jump like at all. He doesn't really use his athleticism all that much. Like, yeah, he moves pretty well. He can cover some ground. He's not the most fluid though, and a lot of those things that I said about Tiafoe are relevant to Felix. Like, yeah, I think Felix is a better athlete than Tiafoe actually, but he's still rigid. Like around the outsides, like around the just the fluidity is not there.
I just want him to I want him to show that it means everything to him. Maybe that's just so cliche to say. But I don't feel like it doesn't ever get the feeling. Like I feel like what Tiafoe does,
it does
sometimes he'll
hit
another gear and go, especially U.S. Open, and I mean there's places where he did even in Dallas, you could see it Tiafoe is starting to play at this new level that he's never really. I mean the Wimbledon obviously, but
Felix is too robotic. He's too robotic, and I don't think robotic.
In a bad way, not a good way.
No.
Some people.
Mehdi is robotic in a good way. For now, Mehdi is very animated in between the lines when the point is not being played, but when the point is being played, Mehdi becomes a robot. Felix it's in a bad way. It's like his emotions, he's robotic, and the way he plays, he's robotic. It seems like he's predictable in the big moments, and that hurts him. And I think that it always was a turnoff to me when I heard from the somebody that was with the Netflix team saying that when he was playing matches that he didn't want to have the cameras in the locker room after losses. And he didn't want to feel any of that vulnerability.
That's the thing. It's no vulnerability. Dude, you got to.
And I think that's if you watch Rafa, his whole Rafa was always, you always knew how much it meant to Rafa.
Yeah.
Ever since he was 17 years old or whatever,
yep.
You knew that this meant the world. Since Carlos Alcaraz has been on the tour, it looks like tennis means the world to him. It looks like signing every autograph, waving to every fan, waving to the personnel into the tunnels that I've seen Carlos do. That to me was he didn't win this tournament in Miami, but going forward, it's not only is he the face of tennis and the fan favorite, but this kid has the it factor that most of these guys don't have. I mean, Carlos shakes everybody's hand. He says hi to everybody that he walks past. After practices, he shakes the other team's hands. He shakes the players' hands. He thanks the fans for coming.
And he'll die on the court.
And he will die on the court. I mean, the whole process, the whole life of a tennis player.
Yeah.
He's fallen in love with it. And I mean, it doesn't seem like.
But you see the vulnerability in him, even.
You do,
and it's just
he never complains either.
Yeah, but even with someone that I feel this is interesting to talk about because even with Sinner, I felt last year was kind of one of those he's I was what is it with this guy? He's got all this power slapstick, but it's just it's just kind of muted and it doesn't feel vulnerable. But when he played, he's raised his game into this new level. You can totally tell that it means something with Sinner. Yeah, it's all him. He's back. He's shaking. Yeah. He's going to die on the court. He's going to win tournaments.
Shout out to Darren Cahill for breaking that out of him. I think I have to tip my hat to Darren Cahill, who he added in January of 2022. He actually added his entire new team in January of 2022.
You can tell.
And he looks
he's a different player.
He's playing with real emotion. Looks like he's playing with a passion that is going to make him a next level player.
Yep.
And he's now But when you look at Sinner walk around the court when the ball is not in play, does not look like a world-class athlete. Once the ball goes in play, that guy becomes a different animal, and you partner that with the raw emotion and just his ability to fight for these matches, even when he looks like he's cramping or his legs hurt.
Yeah,
he wants it so bad. Sinner to me gained a lot of respect the last
when
few
he's
weeks.
Pulling his feet up while they're cramping. I mean, fought through it because he's I gotta get this guy one time.
I love it.
I do too.
Sinner earned a lot of respect from me.
Me too.
But back to what I was saying.
Anyway.
I was on the practice courts in Miami, and I had on the first court was Roberto Bautista Agut and Casper Ruud, and then it was Kecmanovic and Sinner, then it was Tsitsipas and Carlos, then it was Felix and Mehdi, or no, it was Felix and Fokina, Mehdi, and some. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I was watching to see where the fans kind of gravitated towards. There were so many top 10 players on the court. Holger was down there with Zverev as well. So, I mean, it was a star-studded practice session, and all the fans were on the practice courts. And I'm saying 85% of them were watching Carlos.
Hell yeah.
They were on the Steph court, but the fans were watching and filming Carlos. If they were even on the side of Steph, they were literally trying to get Carlos on film, and the fans are audibly yelling. It was just I have some cool videos I posted, but it's that kid is amazing. And after the practice match, where he kind of dominated Tsitsipas, to be quite frankly, he's just has this interaction with the fans and just like this rapport with these fans that like you have 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds yelling his name, and then you've got 60-year-old men and women like fangirling and fanboying who are like playing like intramural tennis at local clubs. Also, it's just like we have not had that superstar power at a young age.
But that's what he's the face of tennis. He has that superstar power because he's a superstar. He does it all.
And I thought Kyrgios and Tiafoe kind of had that it factor as well, and they do to a certain extent. Not to this.
They just don't have the raw talent that he has either. Like
this kid is special. Once you saw Sinner in these matches try to combine the power tennis with like the finesse hitting the drop shot, and you saw Jannik Sinner put those drop shots in the bottom of the net or bouncing before the net.
Yeah, today
I hope you guys were able to appreciate how good Carlos is for being able to go 130 on the serve and then the next shot going with a 16-mile-an-hour drop.
But
shot.
how good Sinner is to finally be. I mean, Grant, you're right. He cramped him up, but he cramped him up. He got him into the play because Carlos beat him in that first set.
Yep.
But then Sinner got him legit second set. The cramp didn't happen until the third set.
You're right. No, Sinner earned a ton of respect. I didn't ever believe in Sinner as like a guy that could win multiple Grand Slams. I really didn't. I thought he was going to win maybe one, like maybe two. If he was going to like one or two, I had him pinned.
I believed in him.
After that's fair. You did. But after this Miami tournament, where I was like, all right, Sinner is going to win some slams.
He's tall and got the bird legs, but he's so balanced on the he's sliding around and like it's weird because you're right. He doesn't look like he looks skinny, but then when you see him running on the court and sliding, he's completely balanced. The slides are just as good as Alcaraz. He's just a different body.
They talked about it a lot. I think that 7 pounds of muscle he put on the last few months, or whatever, 4 or 5 months, really changed his game a lot for the better. He just looks so much cleaner getting out of the corners, putting on the brakes, getting up and going again, and chasing down drop shots. Just looks a lot more balanced. I will be interested to see. I don't know. Were you watching when they talked about his footwork in the front court on the volleys?
I mean,
just an interesting dialogue they had there with, I think it was Pecci.
I didn't hear that. No.
Just interesting to hear like his footwork is not in sync with like when you watch like the Federers and stuff at the net, or even the Rafas. Like
it's just perfect.
Every piece of footwork from the short ball to the finishing ball is so in sync with like in rhythm. Sinner is like he's not quite as balanced.
He does seem kind of a little wobbly down there.
Yeah, and that's but it's a good thing because if you can improve that and the drop shot can become part of the game and he can add that to his toolbox. If those two elements become a part of his game, I mean, that just raises his ceiling exponentially more. Because he's already added beef to the serve. The serve has started to become a legit weapon. No, he's not Medvedev or he's not like hitting like a Zverev or anybody, but he's coming. He's hitting like 123 on the first serve.
And he's going for his forehands.
He is.
I mean, he's got the crack. That crack forehand is pushing people around.
So no, I think this was a fun piece. Those are the power rankings. I think after revisiting this conversation, Tommy Paul definitely deserves to be in the top 10. That I didn't want to leave him out. Tommy, you've been playing tremendous. Keep it up. I can't wait to see what you do on the clay courts. But JP, let's take a break real quick before we come back.
Play some ping pong.
Yep.
Yeah. We didn't even get to see each other for a while, so
we'll talk about who to watch for on the clay in a little betting segment to close it out. But guys, we'll be back. Interesting start there.
And we're back.
Guys, so we want to talk about a few guys on the men's side that are probably really looking forward to getting back on the chopped red brick. Got to start off with a few Argentinians. I know Sebastian Baez and Diego Schwartzman, a couple undersized grinders. Cannot wait to get their footing back on the red clay.
Oh, yes.
As I think both those guys need the points. They're probably two guys that predominantly clay quarters where most of their success comes on the red stuff. I think those guys are going to have a bunch more success. I feel like they had a rough patch since Cincinnati in last August. I haven't seen those two guys kind of pull through with too many memorable wins. So I'm definitely watching for those two guys to break through. The third guy that may surprise you is Lorenzo Sonego, who just took out Francis Tiafoe at the Miami Open. He's got a 50% win percentage on clay for his career, which is actually second behind grass, which was a surprising stat for me to find. But I think Sonego, with his movement and his the grittiness that he possesses and his ability to kind of change ball height and margins, defend well. He can play more offense with more of a just playing with more depth and kind of more just power tennis, especially on the clay courts with his athleticism and his movement. looking for those three guys to step up. But JP, I want to do a little betting segment to finish off today's podcast. We got Estoril action tomorrow. We've got Houston Clay Courts action, which is the only ATP Tour event in America on clay courts. Want to start off, we got Diego Schwartzman against Marco Cecchinato. Cecchinato is plus 182 against Schwartzman. I think that at plus odds is a must take. Diego Schwartzman has been struggling mightily. Obviously, he's been a clay court specialist for the heavy majority of his career, but I think the confidence is not where it used to be, especially the last few years. I think Cecchinato could catch him here as a guy that's made the semifinals of a French Open in the past. If Cecchinato is ever going to get back into the swing of things and be a top 120, 115 top player, it's going to be now. And I think I'll take Cecchinato at plus 182. Next up in this one, I will take Ben Shelton is a slight favorite against Constant Lestienne. I will take Ben Shelton in his first clay court tournament, at least his first clay court tournament overseas. He's yet to play a French Open. Pretty cool for him on the red dirt. I think that forehand will translate beautifully. And then the last pick we got Jordan Thompson is the slight underdog.
Who beat Tsitsipas. He beat Tsitsipas.
Beat Tsitsipas in the Miami Open.
Sick.
Yeah, was that in 3 sets?
I think so.
Was that 3 sets?
But I was just like, what?
I knew he had a big one. I was drawing blank on that one. JJ Wolf is minus 146 against Thompson. But JJ has not played a lot of clay court tennis, and when he has, it hasn't looked exactly comfortable. Whether it's the movement, he's not getting the free points off the serve as quickly. He's got to work a couple more balls into play there. And Thompson's just a savvy vet, a guy that's been around for a long time, a guy that knows how to win.
Got some confidence, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Rocking a mustache.
Rocking a mustache. And it's a guy that knows how to win on clay courts, and he knows how to just be pesky, and he obviously knows JJ's game well, and I think that's another at plus money. I think it's worth taking a look at. But those will be the top 3 picks for the Pure Tennis Podcast this week. JP, really appreciate you stepping in today, getting in the studio late night on a Sunday. I know you got an early rising grind tomorrow, but I always look forward to our podcast. Can't wait to get back in here. Got a ton of fun action, guys. It's clay court season. Get your red clay shoes out there. Get out there on the Tenneco and have a great time out there. The clay court tennis, learn how to slide. It always transitions well when you know how to slide on the clay courts and you become one of those guys on the hard courts that are sliding a little bit. But anyway, guys, thanks for all your support. Check us out on Instagram for more regular updates. Have a great one.
Peace.
Bye.